All right, level 2. This is a theory review video, starting with the first assignment you had for virtual learning all the way up until now. We're going to kind of go through it all to make sure that we all understand what's going on. So this first assignment that we had was getting the definitions for the meno and the molto. So everyone did pretty well on that. We just had to copy and paste. So meno was less, molto was more. I'll try not to move the camera a whole lot. I don't want to make anyone sick. So then on the bottom we have acapella, ad libitum, and the breath mark. So we would just copy in those definitions there. A lot of you did a really great job with that, so I'm not going to do that right now, but we just copied those definitions down here. So if we move over here, we have the Quiz 8 review. Some of you noticed some of these were in the same place on the quiz, some were not. So it's good to really study these and make sure that you know which one's which so you don't get fooled by that. I have all of these answers down here, so if you want to pause and write those in, that's fine. Alright, we go over here. This is where people started getting a little confused. So we have this excerpt on this other side that we're looking at here. So the song is in the key of, well, let's see, we have no sharps or flats. So that means we're in C major. So we're going to write that in, C major. Identify the circled intervals in measures 59 and 60. So we're looking at this interval here and this interval here. So if we look at this one, let's go a little closer. If we look at this one, we start on the C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's the sixth. Okay, we're going to write that in. We go back over the second interval. Start on the C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have a seventh. Okay, after what measures are the first sopranos to take a breath? So we start at measure 59. So let's see, there's a breath here, there's a breath down here, and a breath down here. This is measure 59, 59, 60, so 60. 61, 60, 62, 63, 64. So measure 60, 62, 64. Those are your answers. Okay, now we go down to the bottom. This was very tricky. Write the counts for the alto line for measures 59 to 62. So we have to write in the counts, so we're going to be using the number system. So if we look at that first measure, we have a 16th note with an 8th note, and then another 16th notes and a quarter note, twice. So if we have a rhythm that looks like this, we use ticky ticky, or 1 E and a, which is what we're going to use, 1 E and a, but the second note is longer, so it's going to take up 2 of these. So if this first one is ti, the second one would be ki, but then it has to be double the value, so ti, ki, 1 E and a. Like I wrote here, 1 E and a. Quarter note, 2. Then we have this again. 3 E and a, 4. So look at what I wrote. And see if that makes sense with what you're seeing over here. Now that I've kind of broken that down a little bit, see if that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, let me know. Alright, so close your eyes. We're going to move down a far way. I don't want anyone to get sick. Alright, open your eyes. So now we're looking at this song called The Blessing. Back up a little bit. The song is in the key of blank major. Let's see, we have 5 flats. Our order of flats is B, E, A, D, G. Use your process to figure out what major key we're in. We are in D flat major. D flat major. Okay, so how many beats are in each measure using the time signature? So there's 6 beats in each measure. What kind of note receives 1 beat? The 8th note. Identify the circled intervals in measure 3. Pay attention to the key signature. Alright, there's measure 3, there's the circled intervals. Right down here, those are our circled intervals that we're looking at. Lucky for us, they are all thirds. You start counting on the bottom note. 1, 2 is the line, 3 is that top note on each one. Those are all thirds. On the bottom, they're having us do more numerical counting for measures 3 through 6 for the voice part. So I'm going to back up a little bit. So the 8th note gets the beat. So that first, that measure 3 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very easy. Measure 4 starts with a quarter note, and as we know, 2 eighth notes make a quarter note, so that's got to be worth 2 beats. So that's going to be 1, 2. We have some eighth notes, 3, 4, another quarter note, which it takes up 5 and 6. Measure 5. We have more eighth notes, 1, 2, 3. Then we have a quarter note, takes up 2 beats, 4, 5. And then our last note is an eighth note, which is 6. If we go down to measure 6, this is tricky. We have a dotted eighth note, so that takes up 1.5 beats. So we got 1, 2 on that dotted note. That next note comes in on the and of 2. And then we have 3 and that dotted quarter note takes up 3 beats. Because how many eighth notes are in a dotted quarter note? 3. So that dotted quarter note is going to take up 4, 5, and 6. So that's how you can double check your work. If you know that dotted quarter note takes up 3 beats, that's 4, 5, and 6, then guess what? You only have 3 beats to put in that other rhythm. I hope this makes sense. If not, please send me a message and I'll try to explain this further.